All right, so it's 10:40 a.m. right now on a Thursday, and honestly, in the past couple of days, I've had countless conversations with a lot of people talking about how can I stay focused, how can I clear brain fog. And I can't lie, I see the same thing over and over and over again, which is why I feel like I'm going crazy in my head because I see it clearly now because I'm on the other side of the bridge. Being that before my life looked like kind of directionless. I didn't know exactly what I wanted out of life. And I felt like, I just couldn't get myself out of that rut. No matter how hard I tried, no matter what I tried to stick to or implement into my life, I knew I wanted more. I was ambitious. I wanted success. But I couldn't actually pull myself out of the unproductivity. I couldn't pull myself out of the mental fogginess. I couldn't pull myself out of being lazy every single day. And I was just self sabotaging myself at the time because what I was missing from this point right here to where I'm at right now, where I feel like I'm focused 24/7, I operate on militant schedules, I'm productive almost every single day in a flow state every single day. Like I'm dead ass working more than 16 hours a day, and it's going, I'm going fucking insane because like I'm in such a flow state. Like I'm going to take somewhat of like a detox soon because of course like you will burn out no matter how motivated or how disciplined you are. Like you do need to step back a little bit, so that's something I'll do eventually. But as of now, I'm in momentum right now, so I gotta push fucking hard. That's just the truth. But the point is that the position that I was in before, where I felt kind of unclear, I didn't really know like where exactly my life was at. Like I was stuck scrolling every single day. I was stuck entertaining devices. Like I played Xbox a lot, like almost 6 hours a day. I would just like kind of mentally, unconsciously walk from one class on my college campus to the next, not really understanding like that I was fully like I didn't really feel mentally aware in the moment. Like I was just there physically. It was a weird feeling, and I felt completely directionless at the time, but what I was missing was the focus that took me from where I was to where I'm at right now. The focus was that I had a realization moment of, okay, the things that I want out of this life, I don't want to be average. I see like how this is starting to play out. Like I see everyone, it's just a cycle. Like you go through high school to college and then you go to the 9 to 5. Like I just didn't want that. I wanted to be financially abundant. I wanted to provide for myself and my family. I wanted to have my own living space. I wanted to drive my own car. I wanted to be disciplined, have a good physique, 200 pounds, 12% lean. All of these things I wanted out of life, but nothing would be able to come into fruition without the discipline that I had to build in the time. So at that point in my life, I had no discipline, no structure, no focus that not no focus, but nothing to actually focus my mind on because I didn't have a goal or a direction at the time. That is the key. I didn't have a direction at the time. I didn't have that mental image that I'm describing to you right now at that time. I didn't know exactly what I wanted out of life. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how I would get to that point. But what I did understand is that the man that I was at that time would not be capable enough to handle the success that I wanted at the other side of the bridge. So what I did was did anything in my fucking power to build that discipline. I went fully in on myself. I understood that of course I want money, I want success, I want status, I want power, but that wouldn't be able to come if I didn't build the best possible version of myself that could handle that. Because think about this, right? If you desire, I mean, commonly the 10K a month is thrown around very, you know, very carelessly around on the internet that 10K months are very very easy, but I never really understood what the man looked like who could handle that 10K a month business. I never understood that to the T. And because I didn't, I had such a foggy image of life. I had such a distorted reality that I couldn't even be present in the moment of because I didn't understand where I was at in the moment. I didn't understand where ultimately my life wanted to go towards. So because I had a realization where I woke the fuck up and I realized that the man I was wouldn't be able to handle the success that I wanted and I desired, I understood that I needed to do anything in my power to build that discipline. So what I did the most uncomfortable thing that I could think of. I went fully into myself, just devoting every single waking hour towards self development. I didn't even have clarity at the time because I was just taking blind and raw action towards what I wanted to do. Like I was meditating for hours a day. I was reading every self help book I could get my hands on. I was watching a ton of self-help videos, all of these like self-help red pill guys like Iman Gassi, Hamza, all these guys, right? Like I was just consuming all this content and trying to get myself immersed into this lifestyle of self-improvement because that's what I understood at the time. Self-improvement is the segue that you need, the catalyst that you need into the lifestyle that you want. And you have to focus with self-development first. And once you create that perfect and concrete image of where actually you want to go to, like it, of course, you can't be like to the T specific when you first off start because even now, like throughout the months, throughout time as it passes, I understand that I want different things out of life as I'm growing. I'm only 21 years old. Like I have more life experience and I realize that the things that I once valued, the ones things that I once really desired, I don't really want anymore. Like I don't really care to have a insane mansion. Like I don't really like that doesn't really drive me, honestly. What actually drives me is being able to provide for people that I love in my life. Being able to not think at all if I spend money on something like food or like buying clothes or buying a gift for someone. That is what I care about because it leaves impact on other people. And I didn't have to the T the description that I wanted at the time. So I understood that I needed to go on self-development. So what exactly I did was I was waking up at 4:15 a.m. every single solitary day. And why specifically 4:15 a.m. is it was just a very, very uncomfortable time for me, to be honest. And I optimized that with action, with iteration, with rep over and over and over again. So I realized that the more action that I took, that the more failures, honestly, that I had, the more data that I could get to work off of because everything works off data. You need to take action to then get data and analyze that data to understand if you're moving in the right direction or moving in the wrong direction, and then you course correct and you put yourself on the right direction that you're going towards the direction you want to go in life. So at that time, I was waking up militantly at 4:15 every single day, and the thing that kept me accountable because this was the missing piece. Like I would not be able to wake up at 4:15 if it wasn't for this, but I was posting on social media every single day on my story. So if I missed that day, everyone would know if I missed. I don't really care. Like I guess it was like a cringy thing at the time, like posting on my story on my IG story, like doing my push-ups. I do 50 push-ups every single morning. I would wake up, I'd drink 32 ounces of water, I'd make my bed, I would do 50 push-ups outside, which at the time I lived in Virginia, and throughout winter I was literally doing push-ups in the snow, shirtless. So it was the most uncomfortable thing I could ever do. And then right after that, if that wasn't uncomfortable enough, I was taking a 90-second cold shower, which would shock my mind and body and put myself in a flow state to really attack my day. That is how I instantly snapped myself into a flow state where I could actually attack what I had planned out for that day. To be honest, what I had planned out during that time wasn't really anything. I was kind of just mentally masturbating at productive activities, thinking that I was actually moving the needle forward. But at the time, that's what I needed because I just needed to take raw action and get myself out of the lifestyle that I was in before because I just wanted to escape that reality before where I felt like I was lost, like everything that I went over, right? I felt like I was lost. I just wanted to do anything I could to escape that reality. So I was doing everything I could possibly think of on a day. Again, consuming all that self-help and knowledge, reading all those books. I was really focusing on my diet. I was training every single solitary day, losing weight coming off the scale. I was getting leaner and leaner. And the more that I got leaner, the more my physique started to transform. It was a representation of how my mind was transforming. Because that's when I was able to really build that discipline. That's when I was able to build that mental fortitude that I needed to actually apply to the things that I cared about, like my business. If you cannot be disciplined within handling your own self, how can you expect to be disciplined handling a business that is actually profitable? It is virtually impossible, and there's no chance of you even trying that if you cannot master yourself first. I'm telling you, self mastery is the number one step you need to take to get to this lifestyle that you want. If I mean, you don't have to have the same exact desires that I once had or I do now, but ultimately, if you want to be a better version of yourself, you have to master oneself first. And again, your physique is a physical representation of how your mindset is. So that's the first thing you need to go on. Go to the gym every single day, implement routines in your life that make it, your goals can never be as big as the systems and processes you have put in place to get there. So focus on the systems you have in your life that take you to that goal. So just for example, if your goal is to lose 30 pounds of weight, lose 30 pounds of fat like I did, and I documented all of this on my YouTube, by the way. So go check out my content for that. But I would be in a calorie deficit every single day. If I didn't know what calorie deficit I was in, if I didn't know like what number it was specifically for me, I would be testing it every single week. I'd be tracking my calories to the T every single day, tracking my weight every single day, seeing if the numbers are going down or up. And based on that data, I would course correct based on what I needed to do. If the weight was going down, then I would stay at that calorie deficit I was at until the weight started to fall stagnant. If my weight was going up, then I would drop my calories even more, meaning that I wasn't in a calorie deficit at the time. I was at a calorie maintenance, and I would be eating as clean as humanly possible. Again, you're just building good habits in your life that represent and reflect on the things that you care about. Because the beauty about self development is that one thing in your life starts to increase, you start to succeed in one category, everything else is going to succeed. Like, it just doesn't work like that. You can't have success in one thing in your life and everything else just stays the same. Like, it has no other choice but to rise its standard and meet that same success that you built within yourself. That is why it's so important that you have to master yourself first. Because I put it like this too, like, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you have a shitty diet, if you don't go to the gym, if you don't have discipline to even wake yourself up without scrolling on your phone immediately, how can that translate? How can that discipline magically just form inside of a business that you want to be profitable with? Like, it physically can't. You need to build the discipline outside of the business within your own self and master yourself first before you can translate that skill onto other things that you actually care about. I'm not trying to make this video like motivational at all, because honestly, this is just stuff that I needed to hear myself when I first started the journey, when I first started to get in self-improvement, first started to realize that, holy shit, I don't want to be average. Holy shit, I want to break out the matrix, if you want to say that. And I was starting to get red pilled at the time. But that is what I needed to hear, is just mastering myself first. Like, I never desired to have the craziest physique. I never desired to have a six-pack abs, even though I've never seen my abs ever before in my life before I went on self-improvement. But I now understand the importance of mastering yourself first, going in the gym, training every single day, training your body, training your mind, and how it relates to business, how it relates to your personal life, your relationships, being present in the moment, being able to focus on something you might not even care about. Because if you have that discipline to wake yourself up, even when you didn't feel like it, even when it's 4 a.m. on the weekend, even when you don't have anything planned out for the day, and you still tell yourself to wake up, then you have the ability to eliminate every distraction in your environment and then make it literally impossible not for you not to focus on the task at hand. Like, it's so easy for me to eliminate every distraction around me because I know what I need to get done. I have the discipline to tell myself that this needs to get done before I even thinking about picking up my phone, or if I even think about entertaining anything else in my life. This needs to get done. I set 3 to 5 needle moving tasks that I need to get done no matter what the day before. And I flawlessly execute on those tasks every single day before I entertain anything else. Like, that is just the standard. And one last thing, there are no preset standards in life, so it is up to you to set those standards. If your goal is to be as lean as possible, set a concrete example of what that looks like. I'll give this analogy, right? If you have a ship that is sailing towards an unknown destination, an unknown island, how can you expect that ship to sail to that island? You can't, because there is no destination that you're actually sailing towards. It is literally just an imaginary island. So if you being the ship, you're starting to get on self-improvement, but it still feels foggy, unclear to you of what exactly you're doing. Maybe you're a ship that says you want to be financially independent, have a lot of wealth, or be able to provide for others. Whatever it is for you, if that is you and your ship and your mission on sailing this sea, right, imaginary sea, if the island isn't a concrete example, even if it doesn't make sense to you at the time, even if it feels like extremely out of reach, like maybe a 50K month business or a 12% body fat, or being able to discipline yourself to wake up at 4 a.m. every single day, regardless if it's a holiday, weekend, your birthday, your mom's birthday, whatever it is. If you have that discipline, if you have that concrete image of that island you're sailing towards, it is impossible not for you to hit that destination with enough commitment and consistency. That is all there is to it, commitment and consistency. And you are the one that sets that destination. You are the one. By all means, be ambitious as possible, but also don't be bitching if you don't have the discipline to actually implement the routines that it takes to get to that destination. That is what you need to do. And if you had the destination in mind, if you actually gave a fuck and you actually want to go towards that destination, then you wouldn't slack off with your routines. You wouldn't slack off with the gym, your diet. You wouldn't entertain any vices like weed, alcohol, porn, parties, girls, all of this stuff that takes you away from the main destination, the main mission. You wouldn't entertain any of that if you actually gave a fuck. Most of you, unfortunately, don't, but hopefully, this is a wake up call because, again, this is stuff that I wish I understood when I was in your position. So, let me know if you have any questions. Shoot them in the comments. I answer all my DMs personally, so hit me up on IG if you have any questions about that. If you want to talk with me one-on-one, how we can implement systems in your life to tailor specific solutions towards your exact situation, there is a book, a call link in the description of this video. So go ahead and click that. And I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.